Hi, thanks for joining the show. I'm Amy with Faith and Freedom, and this is Larry with Open Oregon. And I got the pleasure of working with Larry way back after the first shutdown with April and I and Faith and Freedom, and Nick helped us back then. But we had the very first rally, and that was after the first shutdown. So it was a definitely weird time to have a rally. But we had, how many people do you think came to that?
Boy,
Let's talk about that.
Trying to remember, probably what, 500 people or so, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that. It was a lot.
I
We
don't
filled up
remember.
City Hall on
There's
the grass.
been so many, yeah.
And we had so many people come, and for I think all of us, it was like one of our first gatherings for freedom. And Larry told me something cool because I'm a coordinator, and then my brother was the pastor that gathered all the speakers. We had amazing speakers, right?
Yep.
Speakers that even Portland and Salem couldn't get.
It was kind of the kickoff.
Yeah, you said it was a very good rally,
Yeah.
and which was super impressive because Larry's done that. But anyway, Open Oregon is impressive, and Faith and Freedom went to him because his page was massive, and our page was not. So at that time, I think Larry had 40,000.
I think we're approaching 37,000.
Okay. So at that time, Nick and I were like, we need Open Oregon to promote this so we can get a lot of people there. And I had the coordinating skills, and he had the skills in gathering speakers. So Larry and I have got to work together for a long time. And we just wanted to talk to him a little bit on Southern Oregon first, because we're trying to bring all these different platforms together to be your one media source where you can get truth and hear from patriots that really want freedom and stand together. So Larry, tell us a little bit about Open Oregon and how maybe the page has changed from way back then to now. And
Boy, it's changed a lot. So when I started Open Oregon, it was because I still remember sitting, it was February 13th, and I was sitting there watching TV, and they were talking about the initial lockdowns. This is when everything started. Was that 2020? Yeah, it's been a long time. And I got upset because they were talking about locking down the businesses, and you know, I've been a business owner, so that was something that I was passionate about, and I just thought that Oregon businesses were getting a raw deal. So I went to the computer and I designed a logo real fast. I used to be a graphic artist, and I went to Facebook, and the name Open Oregon was open, so I put it on there, and I thought when I went to bed, I told my wife, I said, hey, I sent it out to all my friends, and I thought, I've got 50 people that responded. You know, I thought that was great. It was a miracle. And then I woke up the next morning, there was like 400, and I was like, oh my heck. And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going to where it is today. And it's been interesting. You can't please everybody. I've learned that through social media. I've been called worse than Kate Brown in censorship, and I think that's something that people kind of don't understand about the page as the page has grown. There's certain pages out there, Facebook pages and groups, that are very specific in what they're promoting. Maskless Women of Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, the name says it, right?
Yeah.
Open Oregon I designed it more, and my thought process behind it was more as a platform for groups such as yours and others to get information out, news articles, etc. What's happening on a lot of different fronts, not just one particular focus. I wanted it to be a place to gather, to get information, so people could come together and say they're not alone, okay, but also be able to find people that they could contact and say, hey, why don't we together, we're in the same area, start a rally, or why don't we go talk to our commissioners together. And I think that's the real purpose of the page. And I've seen a lot of that. Have seen a lot of events generated through the page. I've gotten a lot of personal messages from our members saying, hey, Larry, what about this? And what about this? Why doesn't somebody do this? And I always reply when somebody says, hey, Larry, why doesn't somebody do this? I always say, hey, how about that somebody's you? So, spurring action.
Yeah.
And that's what I really like to see on the page. It's great to have news. It's great to have articles. But I love actionable items. If somebody sends in something that's an actionable item, I mean, that is what we need. We need things that are going to move the dial here in Oregon, like you guys are doing with the rally. You know, I mean, that moves the dial. That gets people together. And then you might think, well, we had 3,000 people there at the rally. That's a great thing. But what's better than that is those 3,000 people that go home and they tell their friends, that was great. And they get inspired and they go, I'm going to do something now. So they go do something. So it just grows from there. It's organic. And we don't see all that. We don't see that happening. Maybe we just see a little bit, but it creates a big flow. And that's what we need. As you were saying earlier, we need people to come together. We are the majority. And we need to stand up and we need to show that. And I think that's what Open Oregon, I hope that's what Open Oregon helps to accomplish.
It does. And, when Larry was talking about the businesses, we, I'm just very patriotic and a freedom lover and a mom. And so I didn't feel, and a coordinator. So usually people call me and book something and say, give me the list of what to do. So I went to Larry, like, I'm the coordinator, but like, what do we do for businesses? And April and Nick and all the girls and Ryan. And so we were able to get together and get a sign in the businesses' windows that were approved by our sheriff. And we were able to work with other people, Yvonne, and to get some, law stuff for these people to find out their rights and what they could do. So the business campaign was super successful. And I know that we have certain businesses that we're still very close to. So I know that was a great thing that Open Oregon helped with. And how do you feel your page is changing? Maybe now that this is going on forever. The mandates keep coming. For lack of better words, the arrows keep coming at us.
Yeah, the page is, there's been ebbs and flows with the page, like anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
and the girls on your group and other groups, if you're running a page, it's not simple. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time on a daily basis. Open Oregon receives, I would say, 200 to 300 post submissions a day. Okay, so out of those 200 to 300 post submissions, I have to select just a few that meet the purpose of the page, that are the most important. And I was saying earlier about people kind of getting mad at me sometimes. I get a lot of private messages from members saying, "Why didn't you put my post on there? It's great information," and it is great information. But the Facebook format's not the greatest, because every time you post something, it buries the post below it. Okay, so you have to be very, very selective
to keep that post relevant and out there. And that's after his day job. So, hopefully someday you'll make a fortune just running Open Oregon. But until then, all of us have day jobs. Like even the maskless women videos that we've done for Southern Oregon First, we all run in here, and literally if you heard what we had done all day, I know there's times that the moms have come in and been like, we have been at 12 meetings today, running our own businesses. We've run into the studio. We don't really even know what we're going to talk about. But, it comes to us. And I know we've all been thankful to Open Oregon and, Jackson County Scanner page. And then we have the Maskless Women page and Faith and Freedom. But we all need each other on all these platforms.
Sure.
And now we're coming together to join Southern Oregon First, where we're kind of all pulling us into one platform where we can.
And I think that's important. I was on a call last night with a Zoom call with Stand for Stop the Abuse group. And they were talking about what they were doing, the petition and everything that they're putting together for to actually create an amendment to the Oregon Constitution, where future governors will only have that 28-day period for an emergency declaration. And then after that, it goes to the counties. And each individual county after that 28 days will have the power through the Oregon Constitution to decide if that emergency needs to continue in their county. And it's one way to look at what's going on right now with the abuses that Governor Brown has done, extending this lockdown, for a year and a half now. Yeah. So, but you made a point about the different groups that are out there. One of the things that's really important, I think everybody out there who's listening and watching this needs to understand, is that there are a lot of different groups out there. And sometimes I hear, well, why don't all these groups come together and just, coordinate and just have one group opposed to all these different groups? Well, every person's I was passionate about businesses, and Open Oregon isn't just businesses, but that's what started Open Oregon. You asked about what's changed through there. We've taken on a lot of different topics over the year and a half. You have to. But every group has its own focus and the things that they're best at. Yes. Okay. And that's why, and that's important. There's got to be that diversity of thought. There's got to be that diversity of purpose. But overall, what's happening, I think, and the biggest thing I've seen happening with the page, you asked that a minute ago, the changes I've seen is I think more people are becoming educated in what's in the Constitution. Yeah. And I think that's really important, because they're asking us right now, the state, to become lawyers and to become doctors. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a doctor. You aren't either, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're just citizens.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going about our daily jobs. But sometimes we get caught in these rabbit holes of trying to become a lawyer, become a doctor, explain those things to our members. And it's hard for us to do that without that background and that knowledge. But one thing that is easy for people to understand, and that is our constitutional rights.
Yes.
Because in the end, the only thing that matters is what's constitutional and what's not. If this goes to the courts in the end, that's a long haul. The only way this ends is it goes to the courts, whatever. The Constitution is what will back us up. So as long as we follow the Constitution, we might have to, go out and rally. We might lose our jobs, okay? But in the end, if the Constitution will back us up. If it doesn't, then none of this matters, right?
No, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No.
The United States, it's over. If the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, it's over.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I tell my members right now, and I think a lot of people are holding on to that, and that's important right now. And I think that's what's keeping people going, on our groups going, and our membership. It gives them some hope. Because these are hard.